you and me. Throw our enemies through knowledge to rebel. Common people, commonwealth, for common people, commonwealth, common people, commonwealth, for common people. Darker mountains rose in the distance when we were expecting white and pearly gates. With Mike, we tell our stories, share our trades, and housing, in stocks, and all the things that we all make. Through his show, crescendo symphonies, instead of war and wave. Common people, commonwealth, common people, commonwealth, common people, commonwealth. Commonwealth, common people, commonwealth, for common people, commonwealth, for common people, commonwealth, for common people. Mike Martins, common people, Mike Martins, common people, Mike Martins. Through his show, crescendo symphonies, instead of war and hate. Commonwealth, common people, Ralphie is the common people, Mikey is the common people, you and me.
I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night to wherever you're watching this transmission. I want to thank you for joining us for Commonwealth for Common People. Intro song by Ralphie.co.New Zealand. At the right price, he'll make you a jingle. Guys, channel disclaimer: we do not offer any investment advice, or our guests that call into the show are calling in on their own accord, and do not give investment advice. And we do not know anything, and we can't even read. This video should never be viewed by anyone ever. All right, you got your disclaimer, and hope everybody gets that. And we got a ton of people already rolling through the comments. Guys, you could come a half an hour before the show kicks off if you guys want to just talk in the chat. Because last week there was a couple of people throwing around ticker signs, and I caught one of those tickers in the chat there. And I picked it up, and it went up like 16% or something today. So, yeah. So Anthony Ruvalacaba is saying, I thought today was Tuesday. No, I think, is today Tuesday? No, today's Wednesday. Well, you guys are scaring the crap out of me, man. Okay, all right. That was, we got some Mario for you guys today here for Commonwealth, for common folks. All right, let's do a quick channel plug, and let's move fast forward into the show. We got lots of stuff to cover tonight, lots of discussion to make here. So we got people rolling in. We got Terry Tony, Papa Piss, David B, Craig Cook, Anthony Ruvalacaba in the house, Lenny Poo, Ralphie.co.New Zealand, Peter O'Brien, Mitch Madden. Was that Mitch Madden? Did I see him there? Yeah, Mitch Madden's in the house. Everybody's in the house. Blunt News in the house. Thanks, everyone, for joining and being part of the show. All right. The voice of the Commonwealth coming at you. Let's go to a little bit of a scan here. All right, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, be part of the channel, and don't forget to set your reminders for this coming up show. We're gonna have Alaskan Prepper on the show this Saturday. I hope he gets his Skype working. He has issues with Skype. I told him, no, you don't have to be on a desktop. Just be on your phone. It's all good. And the week after on Mike in the Night, we're gonna have God Rules is coming back. So if you guys want to check it out, God Rules will be back. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, God Rules will be on the show to give us an update on what is happening south of the Canadian border. Thank you, Anthony, for $5, buddy. I appreciate that very, very, very much. All right, let's rock and roll Hoochie Coo here. So let me refresh that. Now let's go over to, guys, don't forget to send me your show tips on Instagram. So, there it is. And I appreciate all the show tips. And guys, don't forget to follow me on Facebook. You can message me on there too. But the problem is, Facebook is constantly, what do you call it? Facebook is constantly filtering my messages from people. Like, I want to hear from what is it filtering me people for? You know what I'm saying? Guys, don't forget to pick up something on Teespring. This is the Ralphie.co.New Zealand. Check this out. There's a live 24-hour radio streaming. So I'm going to build a platform. I'm going to talk to Ralphie to build me, or tell me how to build myself a platform like this. And I want it simple. I don't want to be updating it. I just want to move all my stuff on one like dedicated server or computer and just have Mike in the Nights. I'm going to back up the audio on Mike's in the Nights. And just let that play 24 hours a day for people that just want to tune in and don't want to watch. I don't blame you, right? So that's another thing I'm going to be working on here. So we got Mario in the house.
It's me, Mario.
Okay, and art by Dano. Don't forget to check him out. And I want to plug my friend's website here. Beat the Market Stock Picks. Buddy has been giving me, I call him the Stock Man. He looks like one of those, he's got a voice. If you hear his voice, he sounds like the Stock Man. And he keeps giving me some tips and that I share with you guys here on the show. That's his website there. He's building it up as he goes, and he writes articles. He wrote an article today. Is today the 10th? Yeah, he wrote an article today. He wrote an article 2 days before that. He keeps writing articles. So you guys might want to sign up for this. It's got a really good. He's gotten rich in the last 3 months off crypto stock, right? So not cryptocurrency itself, but actually stocks that are tied to cryptocurrencies, like Bitfarmers and Hut Mining and all that other stuff. So he could tell us how he made his fortune in the last 3 to 5 months. So this is a good thing. So we're turning the show around to actually, let's start making money and stop crying about housing affordability, because there's nothing we could do unless we could get our government out of power or whatever. But there it is. Beat the market stock picks. All right, what are we doing? Oh, there's lots we're doing, guys. Don't forget to add me on Skype if you need to come on the show. It is, let me just check this here. Mike, how much to make a permanent Mike in the Night streaming audio page, a 24/7 radio? I'll plug that. Oh, sorry, it's an older message from Ralphie. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to move off to there. All right, we got everybody on. Yeah, it looks like Skype is starting to build up. Okay, guys, let's get into the real estate market real quick. And then from there, we're going to jump over real quick into what is happening in the markets. Looks like oil is somewhat taking a small hit. I'm watching it on the Australian Stock Exchange as we speak right now, so I'm keeping an eye on that. So here it is, guys. This was sent to me from a journalist, like one of those anchors, the guys that go out and report on stuff, and news anchor actually sent me this and said, Mike, I love your show on Wednesdays. Can you please, your dream or your prediction of Amerifornia is coming true. Now, Amerifornia is basically California, Oregon, Washington State, New York, Massachusetts, and Illinois, everyone leaving those states because of high taxes, affordability issues, and all kinds of Mickey Mouse. So people are moving into middle America like Texas, Alabama, and Florida, North and South Carolina, and Georgia is going to start turning into Amerifornia. So he told me to please read this, and it's actually very important, and I'm going to cover this. Corpus Christi housing market remains hot, but homes are becoming less affordable. So we saw this pattern in Sydney, Australia, from 10 years ago starting. We saw this pattern in Vancouver, Canada, from 10 years ago starting. We saw this pattern happening in London, England, 10 years ago starting. And it's getting really bad. It's getting really bad across America, and people across America need to wake up, because affordability issues are really going to go right out the window. Amerifornia is coming. Oh, but COVID! You know what I have to say about COVID right here? That's COVID right there. That's not going to stop housing from going up in price. You would honestly think, in a normal world, you would have seen a huge stock market correction because of a pandemic, and you would have seen a massive housing correction you would have seen a massive housing correction a long time ago. We should be in a second correction right now. We should have had a correction in 2018, which should have been the first major correction. And then in 2020, with the whole COVID, that should have been the second major correction to beat it down even further. Nothing happened. It kept going up. So we got, Zoki in the house from Pakistan. Okay, so we got here becoming less affordable. So there it is. Residential industry developers, builders, and real estate agents were worried in the spring when the economy shut down for a few months at the start of COVID-18 pandemic. It's COVID-18. Look, it says 18 here. Pandemic. They said they would never guess the pandemic would make home sales skyrocket. There we go. We were all thinking, oh my God, we're not gonna be able to build any homes. And before I made the Amerifornia video that housing will go up 40 to 100%. Like when the second they shut down those ballots, the counting for the votes, we were streaming live the American elections here live. We were talking, people were calling in. Right after they stopped the counting, the next morning, Joe was winning. I made my Amerifornia video. It's time-stamped. Go look at it. That America's going to turn into California right across because of that election right there. They said they would have never guessed that the pandemic would make home sales skyrocket. So there it is. People are investing in their life and their future by purchasing homes more than ever. So the housing market has not slowed down during the pandemic. It's probably only picked up. So there it is. The median home price also jumped 13% from $200,000 in 2019 to $225,000 in 2020. Like I said, it's going to go up 40 to 100% this year in Middle America. Not New York and California and Oregon. Those places are already, everyone's leaving those states. Watch what's going to happen, because it happened in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Jamaica, even some parts of South Africa. Now it's coming to America. Now that the President Joe is now in charge, you're going to see what's going to happen in America with housing. Collect those coins, people. Better dwelling. What's going on? Canadian employment data shows a K-shaped recovery forming for young people. A K-shaped recovery. So, yeah, let's take a quick look at the K-shaped recovery that they're, and Better Dwelling never lies. That's why I love these guys. There it is. Canada's unemployment rate is heading for a K-shaped recovery. There's the K-shaped recovery right there. And Canada's youth unemployment rate is unusually high for an advanced economy. So there it is. There's the K-shape right there. And 25 plus and 15 to 24. So let's move back. I want to go to this article here I covered the other day. Toronto detached home prices increased $32,000, $32,500 in just the last month, while condos stall. Now, everyone asked me, Mike, I thought condos were a great investment. No! Stop listening to the mainstream media. Condos are a waste of money because condos are FOMO. See, if you grew up in the 80s like me, when someone moved into an apartment, it's like, oh man, my wife left me. I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to get an apartment. He's moving into an apartment? Oh my God, he's moving into an apartment. Oh, he must be really bad. Because that's how it was back in the day. You get an old apartment down somewhere in Chinatown and live there for a while till you get your feet on the ground and get back on. But now, apartments became like it's the greatest thing to live in the sky and pay $500 for strata fee every month and can't even insure your place because the place is so damn expensive. Yeah. So, increased $32,500 last month while condos stall. Let's see if there's a graph. Here it is. There's your composite right there. There's your detached. And there's your condos. And people on social media are saying, but the news told me that condo was one of the best investments to get in. FOMO. People think if I don't get into this property ladder, I won't make that money off of that property over time that I could sell and take a step up and use that down payment from that condo to buy a house. That's what we did back in the 80s. You can't do this anymore. That's gone. Those days, stepping to the townhouse, then a farm. You know, those days are gone. Those days are gone. And then somebody posted a link to one of my videos on that thing, on her thing, it was on an Instagram post where she posted that. But the news said that condos are going to keep going up. Someone posted a link that condo market crashing in Toronto, why? And I guess no one looked at it, but it was like fresh. That's what's happening, guys. Like, this is getting out of control. And a lot of it is the media. The media is spinning so much crap. Why do you think the governments are working to bail out the media companies in Canada and get rid of YouTube channels? Why do you think they want us out of here? Because there's so much crap coming from there, from your real estate, to the food you eat, to the science they're doing. Science. All this garbage. It's a bunch of garbage is what it is. Let's throw a one up here. I got 2 1-ups here. So there it is. And look at condos right here. There it is. There is your Greater Toronto benchmark price change. There it is right there from our folks over at Better Dwelling. I like these guys. These guys have absolutely zero reason to lie. BetterDwelling.com. These guys have zero reason to make up fabrication. Canadian unemployment is 55% higher than the average G7 average OECD. So there it is. It's higher. Over 2/3 of Toronto real estate investors plan on listing properties for sale. So 2/3. But what's a real estate investor nowadays? Is it some guy that, like a barber? Oh, I bought a condo. Yeah, I got my house, but I got a condo. And the only thing he talks about is that damn condo. I know a lady that took a whole business course because she bought a condo. She took a whole business course. And what does this have to do with you owning? Oh, but I have a condo. And then I got this condo. Nobody cares about your damn condo.
It's me, Mario.
Mike had the hardest disclaimer. I can't even read. We love you, Mike. Oh, it's true. Because then someone's going to want to sue me saying, well, the condo I bought didn't work out. Well, I didn't tell you to buy a condo. No one's ever told you to buy a condo on this damn channel. Ever. 2/3 of Toronto real estate investors plan on listing properties. Oversupply on the market. Oversupply on the market. And, okay, what was that one? There was one I want to read to you guys because, you know, I love you guys and all, but I want to read this one. Right here. Okay, I want to find it. Right here. This is the one that actually I made an entire video independent on this POS here, because this is not a joke. And you guys think it's not going to happen in America? Watch out. Like my dad used to say in Portuguese, faz conta que não diz nada. Faz conta que não diz nada. You know what that means? Just pretend I just said nothing. Pretend I told you. Just pretend I didn't tell you nothing. Just pretend. That's what he used to say to me. Faz conta que não diz nada. Pretend I told you nothing. Because I'm going to tell you what's going on here. Now, pay attention to what this is. Buying a typical home in Canada, cities now require an income of up to $230,000 per year. That's a lot of money. Even if that's in pesos, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That is $170,000 American. That's how much you need to make to buy a typical home in Canada. Why do you think the trends in the housing market, the show that we had on this channel, went on for like 5 years? Because this crap is getting out of control. So let's take a look here. Watch this. So, let's look at this Let's look at this here. Canadian household income required for a typical home. So you better be watching this if you're living in Alabama and Florida and Texas. Look how much you need to buy a house in Vancouver. You need to make an annual income for a house $230,000. That's like 150,000 British pounds a year. That's like 300,000 New Zealand dollars. That's 275,000 Australian dollars a year. Okay. So Terry Tony saying he said it to my face. I'm not sure what that means there. And Bart Jenkins is like $230K a year. I don't even think the Prime Minister of Canada even makes that much. Wise Man just sent me $4. Thank you, Wise Man. $4. I want to make your money's worth here tonight, guys. That's correct. Papa Pissed has always got my back. That's $550 a day. Guess that, I mean, how much were they making on Breaking Bad when they were slinging meth, amphetamines? Jesse said he could run up to $2,000 a day. But he's got to go all the way down to Las Cruces to make that much. Anyways, never mind. Vancouver. Okay, so how much? So to get an apartment in Vancouver, you need to make $127,663 per year. Victoria, British Columbia, $181,000, condo $102,000. Toronto, you need to make $178,000 per year for a non-condo, and for a condo, $124,000 per year. Hamilton, Ontario, they used to be the hood. When I was a kid, Hamilton used to be the hood. Hamilton used to be like, hey man, we're going to the hood tonight. Oh, that means we're going to Hamilton, right? It's like, yeah, $144,000 for a home. That's how much you need to make per year. And then for a condo, $107,000. Ottawa, non-condo, $110,587, and a condo, $68,929. Calgary, $97,923 per year, and a condo, $49,622. Montreal, non-condo, $91,083, and for a condo, $67,750. Edmonton. For a house, you need to make $85,316. That's Dedmonton, by the way. And then for a condo, you need to make $44,000. There you go. Now you're getting into affordability range now. If you move to Edmonton, Winnipeg, $69,664 per year, and a condo, $46,785 if you move to Winnipeg. And Quebec City is the cheapest right now for the bigger cities. In Quebec City, a non-condo will cost you for a home $63,000, and for a condo is $44,000 in Quebec City. This is how bad it is. People need to save, I told you, 18 to 20 years to be able to put a down payment on a home. So when you're born, you're already losing. Once you're born in Canada or Australia, or if you're in one of these major cities, you've already lost to live a normal life like we did back in the 80s. Maybe I'm just like Uncle Rico. I'm still living in 1982. I don't know if you guys watched the movie Napoleon Dynamite. Maybe I'm just like Uncle Rico. Maybe I'm still living in 1982 and I'm just out to lunch and I can't move on with the times, and housing should cost 25 to 35 times your income, and maybe that's just the way it's supposed to be. And I'm just on here making a fool of myself. Mitch Madden says the U.S. claims unemployment is 6.3% and inflation is less than 2%. That's a blatant fraud. Yeah. I mean, people come on here to hear what's going on and we talk about it, right? Zaki from Pakistan is saying Hamilton is the worst city in Canada. He's saying Hamilton's like Colombia. So Wiseman says, I'm from Winnipeg too. Mitch Madden says, used to live good in California at $2 an hour. Ralphie's saying it right now. Welcome to serfdom. That's what it is. That's where we're going. CRA boss tips 8% house price growth as low rates fuel property recovery. So right now in the Sydney CBA, if you're in Australia, they're now looking at an 8% increase. We don't even look at Australian housing prices anymore. This house right here, this house, this is the neighbor. Don't get confused. That's not an add-on. That's the neighbor, and you could probably see the neighbor a bit on this side. Do you know what this thing is? That's like $3-4 million. $3-4 million. Yeah, down the drain. More difficult to get into housing market than ever. Falling house prices in Sydney and Melbourne in the third quarter cut nearly half a year off the time taken to save for a deposit as affordability improved last year. New analysis of official housing and weekly earnings figures show Sydney 21,000 and Melbourne 20,000 fall in median house price in the September quarter cut 23 weeks off the time needed to raise the deposit in the New South Wales capital and 22 weeks in the Victorian capital. Figures published by the Australian Institute for Progress, a conservative aligned think tank show. So there it is. I'm going to call Craig back in a few seconds. Craig, I'll call you back, buddy. Let me finish these headlines and I'll take in some callers. New Zealand clamps down on property investors as prices soar. So New Zealand is still out of control. Prices are going up. There it is, the graph right there. There's the graph right there. That's what you want to see your investment do. So this is house price inflation, and then there's the 1 year mortgage rate. The 1 year mortgage rate is going to keep going down because there's no way they can sustain these prices. They're going to have to move rates 5-6%. But the problem is, you know who's going to suffer the most? It's not the foreign investors that bought with suitcases full of money. They could take a hit. It's the people that are on check to check that are in this position right now. Let's get Craig on right now. He's in New Zealand. Let's find out what's going on.
Mike.
Yo, what's up, buddy? What's going on? We're talking about New Zealand. Tell us what's going on in the markets there.
Yeah, what's going on? Have you got your round of applause soundboard there? Because you gotta love this one.
Go ahead.
The Reserve Bank have come out this week and said the LVR ratio, loan to value ratio. If you're a first-time home buyer, as of March, you need a 20% deposit.
But the problem is that's like $200,000.
That's correct, sir. So they just gave us the finger.
A 20% deposit. Yeah. I heard of something. I didn't really look into it. So the Reserve Bank the Reserve Bank in New Zealand is basically saying 20% down.
That's correct. Yep. So average price in Auckland, and let's be generous and say 800, but it's not 800. But let's just be generous and say 800. That's 160 grand, and the average wage is, let's be generous again, 70k. And just another figure for you. Average rent in Auckland sits around, and I think this is pretty generous, but they're saying it sits around 560. So if you're paying 800 a week, say, 800-900 a week, and you're paying 560 in rent, plus gas, food, and all the rest, you really can't save that kind of money.
Well, unless you eat cardboard.
Yeah. That's right. What's for dinner? Chicken surprise. Where's the chicken? Oh, that's a surprise. Yeah.
Anything else?
Woo! No. I just wanted to throw that in there for you because you were talking about that stuff, and I thought you'd like that.
Well, I super appreciate that, Craig. We'll have you on Mike in the Night this Saturday. Okay, give us an update on what's going on there. Get your water tested and let us know if it's safe to drink.
Well, actually, talking about that, we had a town down the island, and they told the residents not to drink the water because it's contaminated with lead.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
You can't make this stuff up. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
All right, Craig. God bless you. You take care, okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Mike.
See ya.
That's all I had. See you, mate.
That is Craig from Down Under in New Zealand and taking care of business here on Commonwealth for common comic folks. All right, let's go. Let's move it on. So there it is. Let's move on. Housing prices are booming in U.S. cities, just not San Francisco and New York. Guys, Amerifornia. Well, some other channel's going to take that with 2 million subscribers and be a hero. It's Amerifornia. You heard it here way before all the big channels. Been talking about Amerifornia since the stupid election before the inauguration, and when that day when they had to close the counting down so they could fix a few things and they could count the ballots. I knew the next morning when Joe was winning, I knew it was going to see a Marifornia. A Marifornia is going to come. Okay, so maybe you heard that the pandemic is killing cities, fueling a rush to spacious houses in the suburbs. But beyond pricing New York and San Francisco, real estate demand is booming in downtowns across America. Oh, yeah. From Pittsburgh, Detroit to Phoenix, condos and townhouses within stumbling distances of bars and restaurants are hot. Like the families now upgrading to bigger suburban homes, young white-collar workers are taking advantage of the record-low mortgage rates and flexible remote work policies to move to desirable cities with relative affordability. And you're going to see it. Home prices in urban U.S. markets rose 15% in the 3 months through late January, slightly ahead of the annual pace in suburbia, according to the data from the brokerage Redfin. Based on the geographic designations developed by the Census Bureau, it's a shift from early in the pandemic when prices were lagging behind the outer areas or even falling. A sign in the COVID vaccine are helping fuel demand in nightlife makes its return. Not in Canada. They need a snap election in Canada so they could do mail-in ballots because we have the Brazil strain here. We got the African strain here. We got the UK variant here. We got all these. It's just ravaging through Canada. But America's reopening. They're going to continue reopening. And that's just how it's going to work. So we do the snap election. Liberal government gets the majority. And then they pass Bill C-10, and they close this channel down, and then you're going to have to watch the CBC for the rest of your life and be in the dark forever. Okay.
It's me, Mario.
All right, let's keep going here. So, Amerifornia is coming to American affordable housing. Yep. Why governments don't mind rising house prices. So, I'm not even going to read this, and I'll tell you why the governments don't mind rising house prices. Because Canada, New Zealand, UK, and Australia, 80 to 90% of their economy is housing. They export houses to China. That's all they do is housing. That's it. America is going to be very heavily dependent on real estate to prop up their GDP, and they're going to follow every other English-speaking country that's in the same boat. My friend went to Jamaica recently, and he told me he's going to buy a house close to where his mom lives in Montego Bay. And the house he was looking at a few years back, I don't know, it was like 170,000 Canadian dollars. Now it's like 500,000 Canadian dollars for the exact same house. And that's what's happening across the English-speaking world. All right, we got people commenting here. What are they saying? Let me open the comments bar just a bit better here. All right. All right, let's see here. Phoenix, number 2 among the hottest housing markets in 2021. So here are the hottest markets. Austin, Texas. Okay. Phoenix, Arizona. Nashville, Tennessee. Tampa, Florida. Denver, Colorado. Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Atlanta, Georgia. Washington, District of Columbia. Riverside, California, Miami, Florida, San Diego, Houston, Texas, Las Vegas, Seattle, Washington, of course, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm surprised Seattle's but Seattle's got a long way to go before it reaches. It has a lot of topside. It has a lot of topside to it because Seattle is on the border. It's close to Vancouver, where, again, it goes back to this article. You need $230,000 a year to make $200,000 just to make your payments on a house in Vancouver. So Seattle's on the border of that. So Washington State will keep going up till it reaches this right here. Woo! Okay. Supply of fresh buyers and sellers in housing market shrinks in early 2021. Again, this is going to happen because more and more people will be bought out of the market. And this is coming from the United Kingdom, I think. Yes, it is. Fresh supplies of potential home buyers, sellers dropped off significantly at the start of 2021, despite the housing market remaining open for business, a report has found. An overall balance of 28% of professionals reported new buyer inquiries falling rather than increasing in January, Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors said. This brought an end to the 7-month run of positive growth, signaling a noticeable drop-off in demand. So this is what's happening. This is in the East Midlands and southwest of England's Yorkshire, Humber, all those places. They just can't. People in those areas could not afford to get in the markets. That's it. There's no secret to it. The secret is fresh buyers. First-time home buyers is a major issue in places like BC, Ontario, okay, New South Wales, okay, Auckland, all these places, even California. They're having a really tough time finding first-time home buyers. The only way they could do it is by importing more people into the country with money. That's the only way it's going to work. There's no way around it, because no local that I know that lives in Vancouver has an income of $230,000 a year to buy a home. So Americans just tuning in right now probably saying $230,000 a year and you could buy a home. That's great. No. That's how much money you need to make a year to make your monthly payments on a mortgage for the next 30 years. So how much do you make in 30 years? Like $27 million bucks? Working to pay off a house that's worth $200,000, and that's what people are. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's move on. UK housing boom loses steam again. First-time home buyers. Now, what they're trying to do right now in the UK, especially like in London and stuff, they're trying to push for more Hong Kong citizens, and they've given, I think, 5.2 million visas to Hong Kong citizens to leave China and move and basically bring their capital to. And that's why you have Chinese CCP police working at the Canadian embassy in China, because they want to make sure people aren't leaving with money from China. So they're going to put the Communist Chinese Party working at the Canadian embassy to stop people from leaving with their money. I think China is going to pull a 180, and I think I know what China is going to do. I honestly think China is going to start emptying out their prisons and sending people to Canada. That's what happened during the big Cuban embargo. When people were fleeing, Castro was taking everyone out of the jails and sending them to America. And I wouldn't surprise me if China pulled something like that. It would not surprise me if they did something like that. This is just my opinion. But it would, especially with the police and no Canadians working. I mean, you go to a business here in Vancouver, there's no Canadian people working in the majority of the businesses. Everyone's Chinese. If you go to some of these Richmond, you go to Vancouver, you go to West Vancouver, you go to North Vancouver, a lot of the businesses, a lot of people don't even, it's Chinese people, and they hire their own people, right? So it's the same thing. Like, okay, in the Canadian embassy the Canadian embassy in China is Chinese Communist Party police. Almost no difference in people working at the banks here and stuff, you know? Yeah, Jay Passer saying very low interest rates. Yeah, we covered that, especially in Australia, and that's what's moving things right now. So here it is. Australian markets are open for another 2 hours and 25 minutes. The All Ords is at 7,131, down 260. The ASX is at 6,857, up 80 cents. The Australian to U.S. dollars at 77 cents. Oil is trending downwards, down 44 cents at $58.24 a barrel. Gold is trending downwards too at $18.40, down $1.80. Bitcoin is down 3,000 Australian dollars, sitting at 57,638 Australian. And then what else we got? The Nasdaq closed 31 points down, sitting at 13,655. The FTSE over in the UK is at 6,524, down 7 points and 20 cents. 7.2 points, sorry. The Dow Jones closed just above the red at 6197, sitting at 31,437. The DAX is at 13,932, down 78.8. The Hang Seng over in Hong Kong is at 29,292, 913. 29,913 down 124 points. The Nikkei 225 over in Japan is at 29,562, up 57 points. And that's it, guys, for that. So let's look at some things. Let's look at some stocks. Let's look at some stock tickers. Let's discuss what is going on in the markets. Let's get our first caller in. I wanted to get in our friend here. Let's see if he wants to add me on Skype. Let's see. I wanted to get that the stock man to come on the show tonight. And, yeah, he's not getting back to me. I want the stock man to come on tonight because he writes this journal here every other day. He writes something in his blog. And I saw him today, and this is a really good blog. It's got everything. Link to global technologies, Bitcoin special alert. Welcome to the Beat. Welcome to the Beat the Market stock tips. He just started this recently, and he is working it very hard. I'm going to leave a link in here for it if you guys don't mind. If you guys want to check it out, just, check it out. That's the website right there if you guys don't mind checking that out. Okay, so what is happening? What's happening in your local neck of the woods in your markets? What are your markets showing you? Oh, I want to get Fruity Loops back on the show because it's very important what he needs to tell us. Very important what he needs to tell us. Let's see if we can get him on here. I talked to him earlier today. I talked to almost everybody on the channel. Not everybody, but I talked to quite a few people on the channel.
Hey.
Yo, what's up, dog?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. So, without swearing, tell us, what is going on? Did you pick up that Tilray, like I said?
Oh,
not,
yeah.
Not Tilray, the Sundial and Tilray. Did you pick those up?
Yeah, I got I don't have enough. Obviously, I should have had more because we were prepared for that.
Oh, I was preparing people for months, not months, but since we started this show 4 weeks ago, and it's been really taking off. So, guys, let's look at the Sundial stock. This is the one that what was it? Was it 4 weeks ago we were talking about this stock?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we talked about it again, and we come back into it again. Right now, it's up 57. Oh my God, dude, have you seen it? It's up 57 cents after hours. It's at 352 American.
I know. I told it's real. It's going to be another. Hopefully, it's just gets to where we want it to go before we know it. So.
Dude, I bought this thing at 50 something cents in January. 59, 60 cents in January. And I bought it again at $1.20, and I bought it again this morning at $1.60, and it's at $3.52. I think this thing is going to break out tomorrow. I think it's going to reach a high of $8. I was predicting it was going to reach a high of $4 by this Friday. Dude, it's almost at $4, and tomorrow's still Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow it's.
Well, it's Thursday in Australia, but you know what I mean.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at the futures right now. We're down a little bit, right? And what that creates is maybe by midnight, we'll see a sharp uptick on the futures. And in the morning, we get a continuation on that one, right? So, like you said, that price is it could happen at any time, but we're not trying to put a time frame on it, but yeah, we'll be happier. I guess we'd have more resources you can dedicate to promoting the show. Principal, if that, and a lot more of these opportunities are going to be around the corner. So not a rush to do the one Sundial, but that was.
But is it a good time for people to buy now? That's I don't know, man. It's at 352. After hours, it's up 19.32%. It was up, it closed today at 78.79%. It's up $1.30.
Well, I can speculate, and this is it's a pure speculation move. So the speculation that has its it has its pessimist side and it has its optimist side. So obviously we own it, so we're optimist, and there is a good outlook on everything about it. So if you're going to be in an industry right now, you want to be in industrials, energy. A lot of guys in the chat, I know they own. Even Mitch said he owns Bloom Energy. I've owned Bloom since $12, and it's north of $40. Would I still buy these stocks at the current values? I like them, and I think they're in certain sectors that are going to be the top. So, right. So if it, you have other companies that are going to sell off hard, and then the money will move into this sector. So, Bitcoin is selling off. There'll create opportunity for these sectors. Is like we talked about originally, was that the volume was 450 million, and that was consecutive over the last 30 months. So,
well, I spoke to Alaskan Bigfoot today. Alaskan Bigfoot is someone that's been sharing me stock tips for years, back and forth, and he says that Sundial. This is his opinion. Okay, he says Sundial may have the productivity to outperform Tilray. I'm like, what? He's like, maybe. I'm like, what? He's looking at fundamentals into the next 3 years, and he's thinking that this is severely undervalued. And I'm like, oh wow, we could have picked a cherry right here.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna have tons of I'm looking for more cherries right now. We found these when like it was under 50 cents. So there's going to be other ones that when they start to move, they'll go on into you get a stock scanner and you look for these top plays,
mhm.
and whether or not you might have had a history with them, known them for a while. They're local, I guess, to you, so it could be a familiar brand before this whole breakout, but this was definitely on the scanner of the hot momentum. Definitely, you're seeing the volume. It's one of the, like I said, the thing that you want to follow is the volume, with being the top on the market, whether it's the highly weighted average market volume, or if it's just an intraday volume spike. There's obviously a reason why somebody's buying 1 million call options.
Mhm.
So I watched that. I also I watched the unusual options activity. When I on my channel, I've been putting CNBC on just because I like the ticker, and it shows you unusual options activity on the top, and on the bottom is the Nasdaq unusual option activity.
Mhm.
So they'll throw it across the scanner, which is the ticker across the screen.
Right.
And Tilray's been all over it, and and anything else that's unusual will come up on the scanners, and there's going to be other ones that are going to come. So we've been with these, we've been right. So at $3, it's actually, it's up 50 cents more, so 350.
I mean, could it realistically outperform Tilray?
On the price or the value? Because there's different things that can probably beat them on, but it would be
Depending on the fundamentals, I understand, and assets and all the other debt logs and financials. I understand. There's a lot going on, a lot in play here, a lot of moving parts. So another one we're looking at was VJet. VJet is at $27.36. We were talking about this on the show when it was trending at about $16, $15, because we did that show on January 26th or 25th. We were talking about VJet. It was at $15.82. Now it's dropped. I sold it when it was climbing. I sold it around $30. I thought it was gonna crash, but it went up all the way to $39, and then it crashed back down. It's at 27 right now. I think VJet's on life support right now. I was looking at the graph. It looks very choppy, and I'm not kind of behind VJet anymore right now. It did do well. Another is Tellurium stock. We had Dominic on with Tellurium stock, and that one's up 10.46%. It's up 34% on the day. It's down 1 cent after close. But it's at $3.59. I think I got into Tellurium Tell. I got into Tell when it was, hold on, let me go to the 1 month. When Dominic came on the show, I think I picked it up at 270, 290. It's at 359 right now, and kind of good to see that in the green today. What do you think?
Natural gas is.
Tell.
We did get that.
Tellurium, yeah.
Yeah, we got that push by natural gas price with the cold weather. We just went through that snow in the Northeast that pushes up those natural gas prices. The
Right.
higher demand, right? Colder. We're getting a late winter, I guess you could call that, where snowstorms in the Northeast in America. So they're typically, east of Philadelphia, north to Boston. Those are, brick buildings with a lot of natural gas.
Yes.
And I worked with my Portuguese friends. We worked on doing those high rise. They were the contractors. So that was a long time ago. But you got I'm looking at the hot list now on the scanner, and I'm still seeing these other companies that are going to be coming up. So I got, I can put these on the scanner. We're obviously right now, Sundial is the number one chatter.
Again, we got it at 56 cents here on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to stick to one, kind of concentrate and have some discipline to one night. We don't want to be these other people talking about 10 different ideas. You want to focus on one. And
I'm kind of spreading it across from the different options because
Yeah.
some people don't want to be in let's say marijuana. A lot of people like energy. A lot of people like, so we cover all the different sectors. And I own so far I own all these stocks except VJet. I sold that. I got out of VJet. And Suncor right now looks like a good buy at $18.11. And what's the dividend? It's not showing the dividend here. But Suncor, I think for some people, like, it's a great buy at $18.11. It used to be a $40 stock. Let's go like what it was before COVID. Before COVID, dude, it was $30 before COVID. You know?
Right. Yeah. What's the symbol on that one though?
Suncor, SU. It's on the NYSE, Suncor. Suncor, isn't a Warren Buffett in that company? I think Warren Buffett owns a good portion of that company. Right, that's a decent buy right now.
He's the kind of guy you want to get involved in the cannabis sector. If he starts buying, like I said, you got Constellation. They're, the owners of Modelo and Corona, and CGC has a majority stake. They'll take out CGC and be a majority owner,
right.
And then they'll take over these smaller micro cap Canadian companies to basically just to take over the continent and merge into one American / I like to see like some Green Thumb mixed in, American Canadian companies.
All right, let's look at our big nuclear arsenal right now. We were promoting Tilray 3 weeks back at the start of the show when we started this show. We were promoting it when it was at pretty much sitting at $17, $18. It is at $63.91 right now. We were promoting it 4 or 5 weeks ago, and look where it is today, my friend.
Yeah, so just be careful. Obviously, these will go to the sharp upside. As you've seen, I was on my videos, you would see it was at $27 the other day, and today it's at that price. So you just want to be cautious, anybody trying to move into it. But we did call like you said, it was only 30 days, or even if it was 2 days ago, we were in the company,
25th of January. I think we called it on 25th of January.
Yeah,
is when it was at $17, $18 then. I remember, and I kept buying heaps and heaps of Tilray.
Yeah, well, we thought $20 was great. Now we don't know how high it's going to go, but over the long term, yeah, it'll keep going higher. But in the immediate, we don't know, so it's pure speculation. So, did I think that I was going to get $70 on my position yesterday when I had a bigger position in it? I didn't, and probably the reason why I reduced it was because I was kind of just trying to exit out of it. But there is a lot of unknown upside, but just be cautious. This is not, try not to make a movie out of it. They obviously they have all these over the last week. Now everybody wants to make a movie of this whole Reddit thing. They'll turn and blame it on us if we say, hey, yeah, the
consumer traders. The consumer traders are all to blame, right?
Yeah, we want everybody to be wealthy and accumulate goods, to abundance. It's just a natural law, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't want to have an issue where we, deal with these people who have more money. And at the end of the day, how it goes in anything. Whoever has the most money wins, right? Mm-hmm. That's the name of the game. So, if these other people, you gotta, play nice. You don't want to push them around. It affects everything, So these moves are typically based off of an article. Mm-hmm. Okay, the article that was the catalyst for this news that caused these companies to move 600% in a week is Chuck Schumer went on Market Watch and did a report saying that he was going to legalize through the majority of all three branches in the government, mm-hmm. or the Congress, whichever way to expedite that. They want to just take it out of the way it's categorized and make it so that it's legit. With companies like I mentioned about the GWPH, I think that's the name of the company, GWPH Pharma. Now they had the epilepsy drug. I did speak to you about that. They're in a similar sector, and what you do see is one sector is hot. 2 weeks ago they had a deal with Jazz Pharma. Now Jazz Pharma in 2006 or 2010, I had bought that at $5. That stock right now is currently above $150. So, I mean, just on that position alone, if I would have held that and never sold it, it was speculation to start out with, but these companies typically work out because there's a good pipeline, a business, they open up better doors to more opportunities, and these deals happen. So that's the news catalyst over the last couple of weeks. That's why it's been up 600%. And it has been a lot of coverage on the news. It seems that everything we talk about here, it becomes a news event afterwards. So
it's kind of funny, eh? We talk about it here, and then 3 weeks down the road, it's a news event. We got Supreme Cannon on the thing saying Wednesdays are trends in the stock market. Now, no, we talked about housing, we talked unemployment, we talk everything financial here. So housing, when you read articles like this, this article, buying a typical home in Canadian cities now require an income of $230,000. We're done. There's nothing we could do. If you need to make $230,000 a year just to pay a mortgage for 30 years on a house that's worth $80,000 in Tennessee, it's not even worth it. You want to comment on that?
So, based on a lot of the news articles, I just would take them with a fine grain of salt.
Oh no, this is Better Dwelling, and Better Dwelling, they have no reason to lie. A lot of mainstream media hates Better Dwelling because Better Dwelling is 100% on the money when they don't play games when it comes to. The Better Dwelling is like our show. We talk about stocks and then 3 weeks later it becomes a news headline. This is the same thing here with Better Dwelling. Better Dwelling is saying this, and they broke down the graph to show every city, major city in Canada, what it's going to cost, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Maybe it's better to find ideas for people to make money, to invest in the right sectors, maybe make a bit of money here and there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I'm not saying gamble, but do their own research because it's an open market, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of gambling going on, obviously with housing. People, if you want to buy right now, you're taking a risk because you're buying it at an all-time high. And this deal that just happened, it's Showtime.com. They just signed a deal with Zillow. So Zillow right now is up $20. I just bought it. It was like an hour ago. I guess the markets were open at 8, so I bought it before it closed at 180. So that company is trying. Looks from what they bought out, that company, it looks like they're trying to do live showings without having any interaction. And just closing a contract without any agent being present. So it's gone completely digital. And there was a big boom in that, where you kind of try to take out the middleman. So you can try to robo an office where you have people producing real estate deals, but there's no cost of an agent. So if you're an owner of the business, you would capitalize on taking a profit and just doing the analytics on the back from that. And I mean, that's Zillow. So that shows you where the market is. Like I said, with housing, there's a lot of money to be made in fix and flip. So yeah,
in parts of America, yeah. But if you have to pay $3 million for a tear down in Vancouver, you need another $3 million to build something back here.
Yeah, well, you got to do with maybe something, some other location.
You got to go to really, really cold areas in Canada. You go to Alabama, you could buy a house for $100,000 still. You could go to Tennessee. You could go to Nashville.
That's what they're pushing right now. Yeah. That's what I see on the chatter is get your rentals, $100,000 a pop and get your 5, 6, whatever they're getting a month cash flow and build up a portfolio. But, on that, the cost there maybe will go up. But again, now the other thing is interest rates. So today the bond did sell off, but depending upon the pre-market tomorrow, that's how the bond will react. So you'll have to wait till 4 a.m. and to see the futures, and the markets could, like I said, I'm expecting it to move higher. We do have Disney.
Isn't there a stimulus package promised soon?
So he's going to do next week. It's 1.9 trillion. Unfortunately, that's a lot. It's going to go out whenever it goes out, but it's about $1,400 a person under a net income like $75,000 or $50,000, and then on just basically they're wasting so much money. That's the main reason why I would say hedge with Bitcoin and ETH, XRP. They get out of that lawsuit, that would be a lot better. Right now they're just holding them down from that Ripple case, and
yeah,
with
that's
a
right.
hedge, and the thing is that the money is being spent on crazy things. So just know that everything is crazy, and we're still in crazy mode. We wouldn't be giving out $1.9 trillion if it wasn't that crazy. So just know, like, when we talk about things, that it's probably has to be considered crazy. So yeah, so they'll give out those funds, and whenever those funds go out, that will be produced and consumed into the markets. So eventually that will have not create overvaluation. So you'll see that the housing markets will continue to run up, because that's not just running on pure market. It won't run in normal. It will run on hyper mode, because you're putting in a large amount of money into the direction that it needs to go. It needs to go to grow an economy. You need to build a good foundation. You need to make sure that everybody's, not dragging the net, so to say, right? So it's not a bad thing.
Hold on. Stop the press. Stop the press. Everything. Stop. Just off the wire right now. This is being sent to me from Mexico. Amazon CEO says his company will go bankrupt. Jeff Bezos just shocked the Amazon investors to the core with this bold prediction. He just said this a few minutes ago. I predict one day Amazon will fail. In recent interviews, Bezos explains that he believes that Amazon will be. Hold on, let me open the article here. Bezos that eventually will go bankrupt. What might be even more alarming is that Bezos has been dumping roughly $1 billion worth of Amazon stock every year. But Bezos isn't just cashing out. He's reinvesting his money into a fast emerging technology that he believes still improve every business. Wow.
Well, that's the thing. You noticed that the other thousands of CEOs that did the same thing over the last year or 2 years before he left, they're all doing the same exact thing. That's why I'm surprised, like Elon Musk or other known CEOs didn't sell out of there.
Is he on the moon yet? Or on Mars?
I'm
joking.
He's probably hiding from his shareholders because they're probably wondering why he's buying $1 billion worth of Bitcoins.
Guys, I'm going to give you 1.5 billion actually.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to ask you guys for some homework. If you can leave it in the comments below after the show. I got a guy who is diehard on this. The ticker is LNK.CN. It is Canadian SEC. Okay, this is this technology company, Link Global Technologies. It's at 93 cents, and he is up and down swearing that he put a majority of his eggs in that one basket, and that is quite a bit of eggs. He is swearing up and down on this stock. He is like this, like name of the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, like it's sealed. He thinks this thing is going to go to $2 or $3, and he explained the outline of this company and what it's doing, and how it's getting energy from these methane things to help farm Bitcoin. And the energy is not going to require like electricity. And it's in a cool place in Alberta, like in a cellar type, like airport hangar style, huge building in Alberta that's abandoned. And they're farming Bitcoin with it and farming like cryptocurrencies, but they're using the methane that's coming from somewhere in the building that's constant to power the Bitcoin, so it won't require electricity. So he put a lot of eggs in one basket, guys. It's LNK.CN. If you guys could take a look at this ticker for us, there's no information about this. It just says Link Global Technologies provides infrastructure for cryptocurrency mining and data center technology. The company was formerly known as Link Blockchain Technologies, Inc., and changed the name to Link Global Technologies in September 2018. Link Global Technologies, Inc. was incorporated in 2018, headquarters in Vancouver, Canada. But we are not... I don't know nothing about this, but Buddy is so up and down about this, and he put a lot of eggs in one basket buying this stock today. I mean, a lot of eggs. And he swears up and down this, and he's telling me, get in while it's at the bottom now. I don't know, man. I mean, there's nothing on this company. It's not really giving me anything to really look. It did take a spike back at the end of December here, it looks like. And from 40 cents to it's around the 93 cent mark right now. I don't know, man. Like
that's a small cap. What is that? 31 million? 30 million?
I can't even see it. Oh, market cap 30 million.
Yeah, that's like me or you putting together like $1 million and leveraging it.
Yeah.
And then getting a ticker symbol. But
that could buy you 2 homes in Vancouver.
No, I probably did. I mean, if there was $15 million a house, I mean, come on, that's.
Well, there was that one for $9 million. I think you commented on that one for $9 million, and the assessment came back at $200,000. And it sold for $9 million. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they're giving a deal on property tax.
Good luck with that. So look at this here. So we got Link Global Technologies, LNK. I don't know much about it, guys. So go ahead and look at it yourself. Supreme, I know you want to expand your portfolio. Guys in the chat room, I don't know. I might pick up a couple of grand of this just for the sake of getting it for him and just leaving it.
You know who I did see come up though today on the news was GSAT. I typed that one in. G as in guy, S as in Sam, A-T. It's something to do with the same global technology.
Yeah, Globestar Inc. It is 9 cents after closing, and it closed 32 cents up today. So there it is there on the NYSE GSAT. Look, this one has more information, right? That other stock that guy put a lot of cash into, there's no information on that, and that's scary. Oh yeah, there it is, peeking right off, man. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that was a popular. Well, so what does that say? 4 billion? That's a decent sized company. Look at the volume. That was 300 million.
Mm-hmm. I see it.
Yeah, so that's another alert. Is a volume high spike in the volume. You want to see that,
Well, back in 06, it was trading at $15. They probably split it a few times, eh?
Well, they just signed a deal with that deal right there. You see that X65 modem? They're doing the 5G modems. So
so this I'm gonna put this on my other watch list for tomorrow. I'm gonna watch this baby tomorrow all day.
Right. Well, there's gonna be the small caps are trying to move, but there was they had reached an all-time high. So we're getting hopefully another round next week. We'll be taking off like this again, and just show up with some more appreciation and try to get some more thrust into what's upon us,
Okay, let's get. I want to get Anthony on the show too. I want to get him to weigh in on what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guy. I love supporting everybody's show, and thanks for everything, Mike.
God bless you, buddy. Bye.
Thank you, buddy.
So that's our Goldman Sachs former Wall Street trader who used to trade on the trading floor in Wall Street. Let's get, who else we got going on here in the comment section below? I wonder if Tristan is available. You could comment on what's going on in the housing market there in, I'd like to know what's happening in the housing market there, where he's at. Dream along, Mike, I'm not home. Oh, Anthony's not home? You should call us if you're on Barbara Streisand's airplane. Last time I tried calling him, he was on a private plane. Craig Cookus is listening and heading home to get my coffee. It's like lunchtime or 2 o'clock there in New Zealand in the afternoon, a day ahead. Okay, Craig Cook is saying, good caller. Who else we got here? Don't put all your eggs. Yeah, buddy, put all his eggs in one basket at the one stock. Globestar. I'm taking a look at Globestar. It's got a $4 billion market cap. It's up right now at 2. So I'm gonna probably send that one up to the underwriters to see if it gets approval. And we got Link Global Technology. Man, Buddy's really, really firm on this thing, and I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. That's 3 free men right there. So basically all the stocks we've been looking at several weeks ago are making headline news now. And that's what our last caller, Fruity Loop, said. And he's like, yeah, it seems like that's the trend that's happening on this show. We we verify. This one here, this Tilray, I can't get over this stock. I can't get over this Tilray. I don't know, man. I don't even know what to tell you guys. Let's see if we can get... Who can we get on the show now? Let's see if we could get... let's see if Dominic picks up, man. Let's see what Dominic's up to. Anthony's not home. That's fine. Let's see. Dominic, turn on your Skype. I know you're watching right now. Come on. He's not online. I wanted him to come on to look at... So this is it, guys. So, guys, I don't know. Like, someone just messaged me right now on Skype asking if they should get into Sundial, right? So, guys, 4 weeks ago when we brought this up on the show, like literally 4 shows ago, when we brought up Sundial, here it is. Okay, when we brought this up, it was at 60 cents. I told everyone to buy this stock. Buddy that just called bought a position. I got my position in early January. Lots of other people I know got their position. Now it's at like $3. It's at $3.52. Now people are messaging me, should I get into Sundial right now? Hold on. Mike, Sundial looks a good buy right now. Should I? See, guys, I don't know. Like, I bought it at the ground. So for me to tell you to buy now at $3.52, I don't want someone to, I don't want the stock to commit suicide. And then people are like, oh my God, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got on the ground floor when we were telling people to buy, like, for example, like Tellurium, I think we were advertising it on the channel when it was sitting around below $2, if I'm right. Yeah, it was below the $2 mark when I was buying Tellurium, when we had Dominic on 3 weeks ago. And then we had him on the week after. Right? So, I mean, getting on things now, I don't know. Like, if it's safe to buy now. VJet, I'm totally out of VJet. I'm watching VJet, but it doesn't look strong right now. VJet looks like it's not strong. We were promoting it way back when it was, what was it at? Yeah, in the $16, $17 range. It's at $27 now. I don't recommend that even. Anyone added to Ricey? Yeah, I bought Ricey. I bought lots of Ricey. There it is, Rolls Royce. $1.36. I have Ricey. I bought tons of Ricey. Right? That's a stock, I don't know, I believe Rolls-Royce is making those hydrogen motors. Hydrogen-powered motors, I think that's what it is. And I think, like companies are looking at it like Peterbilt, Freightliner. Those companies are looking at those kind of motors. Nitrogen-powered motors. So, I mean, there it is right there. I mean, it did go up way back, and right now it's at the bottom. So, Rolls-Royce might be a good buy at $136 right now. I think it is. I think it's a great buy for long term. You won't be this stock does have a bit of upside to it, and I mean the only bonus you will get, maybe a bonus, is that the British or the English will bail out Rolls-Royce. I don't think they'll want their company to go bankrupt, right? So they might get bailouts. So kind of throwing that out there. I don't like that whole idea of bailing out a company that is in trouble, like every company for itself. Because when somebody defaults on their credit card, no one else goes after them for the money, right? No one else bails them out, right? So, yeah. Anthony's saying that Tellurium is trending upwards. It sure is. And again, I bought Tellurium at the floor when it was on the ground. I bought it when it was like below to $2 mark. When Dominic was on the show. So, I mean, am I lucky? Yeah, luck plays 50% of the factor, right? But then the other 50% is kind of talking to people, gaining knowledge on certain aspects. You know, I think stock buying and trading is a good, healthy, if you're not crazy and you could reinvest the profits you make in the stock markets without having to put your own money in after. I think that's a good way to kind of pass the time and learn and look at statistics, kind of listen to people's feedback on certain things from all over the world. Lord Humongous says the stock market is filled with evil boners. Yeah, there's all kinds of evil going through. But, I mean, a lot of us can't even get into the housing market. So it's almost like in Canada, we're in Australia, New Zealand. If everyone could bond together and start investing in good future technologies or future of some company that you believe is going to go somewhere or you have faith in, like if you have a lot of faith in a specific sector, I mean, there's nothing wrong with following your dreams in that way, right? I'm not saying, people should be able to buy a home, but the position we're in, let's go back to this article. So you guys that are tuning in right now, to buy a typical home in Canada, cities now require incomes up to $230,000. I'm going to keep bringing this up every 20 minutes. This is the problem we're facing. This is why we've been doing trends in the housing market for like 5 friggin' years on this channel. It's gotten to this point. Anyways, let's see who we could get here. Here, let's see if Supreme Cannon picks up the phone. Let's ask him about this angle. Let's see if he picks up. Yo, Supremo.
Hey, how's it going?
Sorry to bother you, man.
No problem. No problem at all.
I want to ask you. So, we've been doing trends in the housing market for like 5 years.
Yeah, I haven't.
We're in
actually,
20
actually,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
We're in 2021, and buying a typical home in Canada, cities now require incomes to $230,000.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. There you go.
Unless we
I
see
agree.
a sharp
I
correction.
completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know what the agenda is here. I can't imagine why. It seems like housing is just another ETF that big money has decided to park itself in. But they're sawing off the branch they're sitting on. You empty out the cities where middle and lower class people can't afford to live there anymore, and they just become ghost towns, husks. I mean, how much are they really worth at that point?
Well, there's a doctor that works for that emailed me. He works for St. Joseph's Hospital in downtown Vancouver. St. Paul's. St. Paul's. Is it St. Paul? Oh yeah.
Okay.
The main hospital, one of the big hospitals in downtown Vancouver. He has to commute.
I think it is St. Paul's. Yeah.
So he has to commute almost an hour and 40 minutes every day to go to work because he can't afford to live not even an hour away from the hospital. He has to commute an hour and 40 minutes.
It's insanity. What I wonder sometimes, that thing that I sent to you on Skype, I haven't actually watched that show. I found it interesting that study was commissioned by the UN. Obviously, this is a global problem too, right? And I'm no great lover of the UN, as no doubt most of you aren't. It makes me wonder, like, are they hauling out these cities and just creating all this empty space so that maybe when they bring in more hundreds of thousands of people, they can just house their slaves there? Like, what is this about? I don't know. I'm picking theories out of the air here, man. I can't understand why they would think this is a good idea. And the prices that they're paying for this housing too is just insane. It would be insane at the best of times.
Well, right now,
what on earth are they emptying out the cities for?
Well, in Vancouver right now, and within like a 35-minute radius of Vancouver Drive, you need to save at least 22 years for a down payment.
Yeah, like it's just the amount of money you need just to get in. This isn't an investment anymore.
And we're not talking about living in the Taj Mahal or the Wayne Manor or buying a plantation. We're just talking about a little semi-detached tear-down home built after World War II.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you don't get a penthouse in Trump Tower for those prices. That's for sure. It's crazy. It's nutty. I can't imagine how long it's going to go on. It just makes no sense to me. And what really mystifies me is the number of people who bought real estate in those cities a long time ago and have seen their equity appreciate at these levels, like almost vertical levels, that haven't cashed out and gotten the heck out of there. Like, I mean, you've seen it happen because I'm sure the place that you bought in Merritt is probably worth twice, at least assessment-wise, as it was when you bought it.
It is. It actually, I paid $260 for it. It's worth $540.
Yeah, there you go. So definitely the money or the people, cashing out are moving inland and getting away from it and getting away from the nonsense too, right? Because it is getting to be nonsense. Plus the fact that if you have empty condo towers and empty office towers, that's going to be a major crisis. Like NYC, there's huge office towers that are empty, of course, and everyone's been working remotely if they're working at all, and they're probably not coming back.
There's a lot of condo towers empty too, residential. They're completely empty. Someone emailed me that lived in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And he told me they took down some of the apartment buildings where the middle class families were living in. They took those down like 4 or 5 years ago, and they built these towers, and they're completely empty.
Yeah, and the taxes that the comparatively fewer people living in these places, the taxes that they're going to have to pay to maintain this empty real estate. It seems to me like it just doesn't seem to me that this is just another way for well-heeled money launderers to park their money in safer jurisdictions, because the cost of maintaining that real estate is only going to skyrocket. Because there's just so fewer people, and of course you've got all of these obligations. We've covered, Chicago and Illinois, like CalPERS in California, these pension systems that are looking for yield, and there is none.
Right.
And so they have to speculate. And the whole thing is just sitting on a tottering pyramid of paper money, and to prevent deflation, they're going to have to crank up the presses even more. I just don't see. I mean, here's your hyperinflation, guys. They're wondering, when's the hyperinflation going to start? It all started. It's already underway.
It started in about 2018 when we start to see things go really sideways.
Yeah, if you're pulling down what would be considered a reasonably comfortable middle to upper middle class wage, and you're still living under a bridge, I'd say we have hyperinflation.
And you know what? We're finding out that like 1 out of 3 homeless people in California have a higher level education, a degree or some sort of certificate or something. They were talking to this electrician that's a Red Seal technician in San Diego. He's been homeless for 2 years now. And
yeah, it's outlandish. I mean, the answer, of course, in a case like that is get the hell out of San Diego and go somewhere else. It's not like there still aren't places to go. It's just if your skills aren't portable, then guess what? You're not either. You're stuck where you are. You get college kids living in pods now, basically bunkhouses, dormitories, like something out of the 19th century Industrial Revolution. It's and nobody seems to understand that.
Do you think I've been like severely delusionalized? Now let's call a spade here, okay, Supreme? Do you think maybe I'm just not getting with the times, and I'm just so hard-headed? I'm a Portuguese, hard-headed, and I'm just out to lunch, and I'm not getting with the times that housing needs to go up this high, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. Am I still like Uncle Rico living in 1982, and I can't get out of that? Like, realistically.
No, I think this is lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. I mean, it still comes down to, the average person, especially when they get out of high school or they get out of college, they expect they're going to work for a few years, and then they're going to get married, and they're going to buy a home and start a family and do the things that people have been doing for thousands of years, and they can't do it. It's completely ground to a halt. So no, that's unprecedented. You only see that kind of thing in a time of depression or war or some kind of major crisis. But even though we're looking at the Cerveza bug and saying, okay, we've got this worldwide pandemic, although the number of casualties still seems to be incredibly low. But I honestly, no, these are unprecedented times because we're not at war, at least not a visible war.
But then why is everyone going along with this? If I'm against this, and I've been screaming at the top of my lungs for the last 5 years about this, maybe just my channel isn't big enough to reach a wider audience. Because there's a lot of YouTube channels now that are talking about the exact same thing we're talking about on here, but they're only 8 months old. Their channel's a year old. They haven't, and they got over 1 million subscribers. And maybe we weren't, I don't know, maybe we didn't reach the right enough target audience, or I don't know, man.
Well, if you've got channels that have arisen in the last year or two that are talking about this and they're growing in numbers, at a rate that your channel should have been and hasn't been or hasn't been permitted to, probably more accurately, there's no question that the message is still getting out.
Right.
That, yes, enough people are noticing this that they're going to start demanding some kind of action about it. Jem Rose, you'd think the municipal governments would be worried about empty office buildings, but not really any mention of it. I think that a lot of it, like our entire financial system in the world, is there are lots of people that realize that the thing is untenable, but no one wants to be the first one to call it out and precipitate the collapse. It's just as simple as that. Until we have mass insolvencies and it just gets to be such a big number that no one could ignore it anymore, that might start a run on banks and finance companies.
Well, once people start losing faith in their governments,
snowball into. Well, of course they're losing faith in their governments,
and they're going to start running off.
Aren't interested in their. Yeah, we've got this world full of nation states, and the state part seems to have ignored the nation, and in fact seems to be enthusiastically trying to erase the nation part. for quite a while now, and this is how it's gone. This is how it's gone for pretty much my whole life, your whole life. Most of the people on here 40 and over can at least vaguely recall a time when it wasn't like this, but it seems to have snowballed. It's been a real domino effect for, well, I would say at least since, I'm going to say the year 2000. Since the
Yes.
dot-com crash.
Yes, that's correct. You are right on the money with that. That was after the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. And everyone
Yeah.
was selling their properties because they believed that the housing was going to crash in 2010, and housing was going to crash, and it never went anywhere.
That's right. If anything, it continued to climb.
Exactly.
It was counterintuitive, but the trouble with we're talking about stocks on here. The thing about stocks is you can get into them quickly, you can get out of them quickly. They're going to appreciate or depreciate fairly rapidly. That's not the case with housing. It's just in the last while where it's really started to appreciate so fast. But it's like 2000, the mid 2000s. I had a very brief career as a realtor, starting in the early 2007, and at that time, my own property, in the area where I live, had appreciated 30% a year for 5 straight years. And now you're seeing numbers like that, and we're into it for damn near a decade.
Yeah.
This is outlandish.
Yeah.
It's just unprecedented. I can't imagine this. It's just gone hockey stick. It's gone vertical. And there doesn't seem to be an upside to it, of course, or a top to it. But of course there has to be a top to it.
Well, here's the deal.
It's artificially inflated, I think, but...
Well, there's a play in motion right now as we're speaking. Canada's issuing citizenship and visa to Hong Kong. So is the UK is offering 5.3 million visas to Hong Kongers. I think they have to meet a criteria of bringing over at least 100,000 or something like that. And so is Australia, and so is New Zealand. Everybody's fighting for the scraps in China. Whatever's left in China, they're fighting over the last revenue. A lot of our countries that speak English-speaking countries and parts of America are heavily fueled on housing market. 80% of the GDP in these countries, right, even California and Oregon, is all dependent on housing.
Yeah, it's foolish. And what is the purpose of housing? The purpose of housing is to house people. It's to house families. It's supposed to be about humans. Housing is a human benefit, and we've gotten to the point that housing is we've got more housing in these areas than is possibly sustainable, and there's no people living in them. So it's just another illusion. It's like fiat housing. Instead of fiat currency that's supposed to represent your time, your labor, your blood, your sweat, and your toil, now we have fiat housing, which represents, a bunch of people who don't exist, because the people who can afford these prices don't exist anymore. You've got this. There's no shortage of people that want to build $800,000 condos, but when the market is actually, say, 450. That supply and demand curve at some point in time, just sheer physics, has to bend them so they intersect again. And there just seems to be this concerted effort to make sure that never happens. It's just inhuman.
But then
it's not normal. It's not logical.
Of course it isn't, because we connect the dots. Remember, we're going to go over this again because we're on the phone with you, so we're going to go over this again. And now before we go over this real quick, I want to show this to you guys here on Article Scan. Corpus Christi's housing market remains hot, but homes are becoming less affordable. Same thing, Arizona is becoming the second hottest market in America. You're getting it spread out into Texas, Alabama, Florida, North and South Carolina, Middle America. The idea that I have of Amerifornia that I brought up after the ballots were counted that day, I made a video right the next day. It's on my channel. When Creepy Joe was selected as president the next day, I made a video that Amerifornia is coming and housing will double 40 to 100%. Am I off with this, or could we see America turning into Amerifornia?
Oh, if nothing's done to stop it, I don't see how it'll be avoided. I mean, all of this capital, all this money sloshing around in global markets has to go somewhere looking for return. If you're getting a 15, 20, 30% per year, sometimes annual return on buying housing, it just stands to reason that a large amount of, especially the big players, are going to gravitate towards it. because they're just looking for a return. It's not personal. They're not trying to kick families out on the street. They don't care about that. They're just moving numbers around on a computer screen, basically.
Well, and then we go back to the article from Better Dwelling that Canada from 2 years ago, way before COVID, Canada would be in a recession without money laundering. And then we connect the articles to Canada wants more Chinese, 500,000 investors per year. People look at the Immigration Canada stats. Investors are not on immigration stats.
Yeah, well, you're going to wind up with internal exiles, because if you had 500,000 Chinese investors coming into Canada every year, they're going to wind up owning entire cities.
Well, that article's from 2016.
They don't really spread out. Yeah, that's from 2016. They don't really spread out. So as the people who were there in the beginning slowly get squeezed out, not just by housing. I mean, you might own housing there, but the cost of the maintenance, the upkeep, and the taxes, which are almost certainly going to mushroom shortly. You're going to have internal exiles. You're going to have internal migrations in all of these cities where people just congregate into areas and try to reestablish neighborhoods. The problem is, as they flood into these places, of course, the price begins to spike up again. I would not be shocked to see villages and small towns sprout up where none existed before, just because groups of people say, okay, well, we're going to set up a town site here for no other particular reason than that we can actually afford the land. And you'll probably see new cities springing up in places where they didn't exist before. Mm-hmm. I just don't see any way short of civil war. What are you going to do?
Okay, guys, here's an article here. Lenny Poo just threw something up. All countries would be bankrupt without money laundering. Let's go back here to article scan. Here it is, guys, right here. World economy would collapse if the City of London stopped laundering money, says HSBC whistleblower. And this is from early 2020. So there it is there. World economy would collapse if the City of London stopped laundering money. I mean, criminals are getting away with taking away our lives and our futures, in my opinion.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And what really needs to happen is you need some actual journalism. You need some people to start putting names and faces to the people doing this. Mm-hmm. We need to know who they are, because those people have names and addresses too. At some point in time, they need to be reminded that they've got neighbors. And when you're talking dirty money, what you're talking about graft and corruption, Communist Party officials siphoning money off the money flows going through their hands, drugs, lots and lots of drugs, human trafficking.
Oh, that's like,
right?
That's
Sex
a lot.
Trafficking, all of that stuff. Yeah. Like this is Babylonian, trading in the bodies and souls of people going on here. And that's what's fundamentally forcing the rest of us out of our own homes and our own nations in some way. Right. It's like this has to change, but a lot of it still comes down to, what does the individual do? You got to hunker down. You've got to do everything you possibly can to not get ripped off yourself, to not be exploited. That's your campaign, and it starts at your own front door. Mm-hmm. You've got to stop participating in this system in every way possible. There's just no way around it, and come together collectively and support a parallel economy and probably a parallel media complex.
Oh, the media is destroyed. The media has been pushing FOMO down the throats of young millennials for years.
Yeah, that's right.
And now they're left holding the bag with these damn condos they can't move.
Yeah, and they're now they become old broke millennials. There's no family legacies to pass on anymore. That's all evaporated. Families are not forming, right? Like they're just trying to it's like a boa constrictor. They're just slowly trying to squeeze the life out of us as unobtrusively as possible. Like frogs boiling in a pot is a rather overused metaphor. But the thing is that even if you were a frog and you realize you were being boiled, like, do you jump out? And if you jump out, where to? It's just tough. It's tough to find an answer, but as much as possible, you've got to understand that you are under siege right now, and you've got to fortify yourself like a siege. You've got to get your mind around it, and you've got to get the world's hooks out of you in every way possible. right? Like, stop buying into their dreams. Stop buying into their fantasies. Stop. Just knock it off. It's okay to just be surviving. It beats the hell out of the alternative, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, we'll be okay if we can collectively come up with some solutions.
Well, that's why we're talking stocks a bit more and investments and investment potentials. A lot of the stocks we spoke about here, we spoke about 4 weeks on the show. Some of them they're all becoming headline news now. Like the last caller said, you talk about stocks here, 3 weeks later, they're on headline news. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. When I asked that question, I wasn't being sarcastic.
No. I know you weren't. I
think it's a good idea. I mean, the fact is that as this GameStop thing, Wall Street Bets, which was really big a couple of weeks ago, and now this mass purchase of physical silver, right? It's like you have, in some ways, sporadically here and there. It's almost like whack-a-mole in a way, but you have these sporadic mass awakenings where people realize there are, this particular Death Star has thermal exhaust ports too. A Star Wars reference, but you understand what I mean. You can fight back, but you have to fight back collectively. But the problem is of course, that's like herding cats. You're just not going to say, okay, everybody buy GameStop and hold for X number of days, because the way it rocketed up, I mean, the numbers they were seeing on their screens were life-changing amounts of money. So of course they were going to hit the sell button. You can't blame them. Right. So that means that a few good people, a few little people that needed a break in life got one. That's good, but it came at the expense of everyone else. Right. So it still comes down to, you got to make sure you win, or at least play to stop losing. Identify the areas where these people are bleeding you of your life force and your money. Okay. And start plugging those holes. This whole economic system is a casino, Mike. Okay, so you get your intermittent rewards, but for the most part,
speaking of reward,
it survives on you losing.
Hold that thought. Speaking of reward, thank you, Wiseman. Wiseman sent me $10 Canadian. Speaking of reward, thank you so much, and continue about reward. Yeah.
Yeah. So intermittent rewards, okay, but a lot of those rewards are illusory, right? They're not real. It's like, as someone mentioned here earlier in the comments, it's like lottery winners. Yes, intermittently, you may know of someone who knows someone who knows someone who won the lottery. Are they still rich 5 years later? Usually not. Right? Money is a tool, okay, but the love of money is a different thing entirely, and it is a drug in a way. Right? When you say people can't handle money, it's about the same as saying they can't handle liquor. Right? Like, you have to moderate yourself.
Can I put up a statistic there?
Sure.
You know that, statistically speaking, that if your parents were very poor or bad with money, there's a good chance you will be bad with money too.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, there are generational problems too. Most of the world, I mean, people are living with the decisions of their parents, their grandparents, right? It's not fair sometimes. But it doesn't mean that you are destined to lose. It doesn't mean you have a curse on you. You can change everything.
I'm listening.
Yeah. You don't have to ride that roller coaster. You can step aside from it. Everyone understands the idea of the Hegelian dialectic. Well, if you don't participate in the chaos, if you're aloof from it, then you basically become an observer. Mm-hmm. Right? You can watch with a certain amount of detached amusement while this is all going on.
Totally understandable.
Like, you kind of have to. You need a sense of humor, because if you've got any empathy at all, it just crushes you.
Right. It's totally understandable. But the problem is, let's say you participate in something and you want to have a discussion, and you want to let's say you want to protest, not even protest, create an assembly outside, and someone on the speakerphone, on a speaker there talking to everybody. Yeah. The media is never going to be on your side. They're going to spin it as a pro-Trump rally. They're going to make you look like domestic terror. And that's the problem with what we're facing right now.
That's right. That's exactly right. So you need a parallel media. You need a parallel economy. You need a parallel banking system is what you need. And then they can't deplatform you. And if they try to whip up the sentiments in their part of society or in the areas where they're most heavily concentrated, it kind of rolls off your back because they say, oh, this person is something ist, or they're a Nazi, or they're this or they're that. But it doesn't matter. They can point and scream, but that doesn't automatically mean that somebody with a badge and a gun is coming to your door. Right? So it's almost like an internal secession that will be happening. I noticed today on Telegram, there was a county down in, I believe, Texas or Oklahoma, that has the county commissioner, their council down there, passed a resolution that any federal laws or executive orders that contradict the Second Amendment, if any FBI agent shows up in that territory to harass someone, that federal agent will be arrested. Mm-hmm. So that's the beginning. That's the nucleus of a pushback at the local level. Is a local county, which and counties and sheriffs have an amazing amount of power within their jurisdictions. Like, it rivals the federal government. So if you're afraid of the IRS or the FBI or some other agency, or ATF or some other agency coming to harass you about something constitutional, the sheriff in that county is empowered to take those people into custody and say, no, you're not harassing our people.
Yeah.
You can do that at the local level. That kind of thing is what you need to be focusing on. We're concentrating on the big picture all the time, all the way up to people living in shadowy castles in Switzerland. Okay, I get it. All right, but it still comes down to, what are you doing at the local level to make yourself more anti-fragile?
On the ground. On the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't mean bulletproof. It just means that your systems are robust enough to absorb external shocks.
Okay, we got...
And you need to start with yourself.
We got Walking Journey in the comments. Don't forget to check him out. Walking Journey is in the comments. He's asking me if I'm at work. No, I'm home. Broadcasting from my home here. Mike Martins must be the boss, says Walking Journey. No. Holy crap. Stel Toronto sent me $100.
Oh, wow.
I thought we banned him for sending money.
You will owe nothing and you will be happy. Well, those are the two things.
Remember, guys, remember the Great Reset. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Stel's just sent me a C note, $100 Canadian. Yeah. It's like 85 American. Thank you so much, Stel. Are you still at the cottage, or are you still out of town? Because I know he, I mentioned that he was leaving town to get away from, he wanted to just get away for a little while and get some nature inside of him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Something I'd love to do, too. You will own nothing and be happy. That's quite the trial balloon for them to float, isn't it? You'll own nothing. Well, guess what that means? That means that you don't even own yourself, right? Because if somebody else owns everything, then you're just basically a free radical floating, unless you agree to go where they want you to go and do what they want you to do. But that's a threat. That's bluster.
But that goes back to last...
They're not going to come in.
Last Mike of the Night show, we tied that into the show. We talked about the digital soul. Are we giving away what we have left in us to this digitized, bizarro life? You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, guys, is you're here because you understand what's going on, and there are a lot of people who don't. And it doesn't mean that we're some kind of cognitive elite, okay, some Gnostic Illuminati of our own here, okay? It just means we've noticed some patterns, okay, and we're stepping out of it. The fact is there are a lot of people today living under the illusion that once the cerveza bug goes away and all the lockdowns are over, if they ever end, okay, that things are going to go back to quote unquote normal. But the truth is, we haven't had anything recognizable as normal in the Western world for close to 50 years. This is not normal. There's nothing here that's been normal for a very long time. So a great reset is something they have to sell to you. They gotta tell you why it's going to be better. Yeah, you won't own anything and you'll be happy. Well, explain that to the people who are buying crap off of Amazon every day. Aren't they doing that because they want to own stuff? Hey, I'll take that. I'll make that mine.
I wanted to bring up
it's so counterintuitive. It's their marketing department needs better people, because that's a really dumb one.
Craig Cook out of New Zealand brought up a really good comment. He said, means you don't own your own future.
Yeah. Well, it's been that way for quite a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. No one knowingly signs a piece of paper saying, "I don't own my own future. I am signing my future away," which would be indistinguishable from making a deal with the devil, right? Well, at least the devil kind of promises, all right, well, you're going to have some fun and you're going to get all these pleasures that you're craving, and you're going to the fame and fortune that you crave. You're not going to like the price later, but of course, most people don't think about that anyway. That take a deal like that. But the idea is that how easily will people sign away their autonomy in exchange for, one of these condos to live in and maybe some regular food rations? It's pretty astonishing how little people will accept in exchange for their own soul.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaky. I remember back in the 90s. You remember A&E, that TV channel?
Yeah, of course.
I don't
Arts and Entertainment.
I don't know if it still exists. I have no idea. But there was a guy named Bill Curtis that used to do shows on there, and he did one about contract killings in America.
I actually saw that episode. That's American Justice with Bill Curtis.
That's right, exactly. Do you remember what he said at that time the average price of a contract hit was in the United States?
Was it $5,000?
It was $800.
Whoa.
800, 8 Federal Reserve $100 notes for a human life. Now, we're not just talking about, high level mob hits and stuff like that. I mean, there's levels to that too. That's getting your next door neighbor to take out the guy who won't stop his dog from barking, right? Yeah, $800. Yeah. Like, it was just insanely cheap for something like that. Does it happen every day? No. But if you find the right person, or the wrong person, I suppose, yeah, things like that can happen. You've got to place a higher value on yourself too. And that doesn't mean, gas up your ego. It just means understand that, no, you're not insignificant. It's not that you don't matter. No, you're not a loser just because you were born into a game that you were designed to lose from the word go. The answer is find every way you can to abstain from playing the game. Yeah, we all want to be wealthy. Yeah, we all want this, we want that, we want the other thing. I'm no different. But you're playing a game that it's designed for you to lose. It's a casino. But the only way you're going to bankrupt the casino is either everybody starts winning, which is virtually impossible, okay, or everybody stops playing. And stop playing around means that in the end, you got to forget about the big picture sometimes, and you've got to pull it back to the level where you actually have some power and influence. Number one is yourself and your immediate circle of people, and number two is your local community. Okay, you're under siege, so you need to hunker down and think about how are you going to hold on while this tsunami of fake money is distorting all the people around you.
Yeah,
it shocked me the way people's demeanor changed in the mid-2000s when they realized that the rate their homes were going up. They had their calculators out figuring, geez, if this keeps up for 5 more years, I'll be able to retire. Woo, right?
Woo!
I'm a realtor, and I'm trying to explain to them, well, this is what your house is selling for right now, and they look at me like I had a third eye in my forehead. Like they looked at me like I was trying to steal from them. It's like, well, things don't go to the moon forever. So when you have something like this where asset prices of all kinds of things are just going to the moon, people lose their minds. So, so many people are just out of it now, and their leaders are studiously refusing to help them or do anything about it,
or lead them on a proper path, right? Of this, and I hate when these leaders are saying. The leaders are saying, oh, yeah, these younger generations are used to taking on debt. Debt is a good thing. Take on more debt. Older people don't like debt. But younger generations should embrace debt because it's a good thing. And there's world leaders saying that to their citizens.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Well, part of the reason that you had the big blow up in 2008 is because it's subprime lending. You had Walmart greeters that through creative finance were able to get themselves into $500,000 homes. How is that a good thing? How does that make sense? How does that reward the people who go along with the rules and pay their taxes and conduct themselves honestly? It just undercuts them all. It undercuts them all.
All right, Supreme.
It's ludicrous.
Supreme.
Yeah, and I'll just end. Okay, yeah, we're rolling into overtime here, buddy. But it gets to the point now. They're saying, yeah, young people are okay with taking on debt, but now the debt has gotten to a level that none of them can even afford it anymore. The train has left the station and left everybody standing there. So, what do? Get comfortable, hunker down.
All right, Supreme.
That's all.
Super
Okay,
wise
buddy.
words. Such a
Did my
pleasure
best.
having you on, buddy.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to interact, Mike. And the comment stream is always entertaining. And I just love you all.
Come and
And,
see me
God
in
bless
March.
you.
Come and see me in March when the weather gets good.
Yeah, when the weather improves, I'll definitely be showing up more often. Yeah.
All right, Supremo. God bless you. I'll see you on Mike in the Night.
God bless. You bet, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you. All right, guys, one last channel plug, and I am wrapping it up. I want to thank everybody for calling and being part of the channel. And thank you, Stell, and everybody else for Super Chats. I really appreciate your support on the channel. And let's go to one last quick channel plug before we wrap things up here. Guys, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. This Saturday, Alaskan Prepper is going to come on. And then the next Saturday, we're going to have God Rules is going to come back on to tell us what's happening. So this is Mike in the Night for next Saturday with Alaskan Prepper. Don't forget to check it out and be part of the show. Also, he's going to give us some prepping tips, discussion. I hope his Skype works. He said he had Skype issues. He wants me to use StreamYard or something, YardStream. The problem with that StreamYard thing is I can't plug it into my show. And, yeah, it's pretty weird. So if you want to be a guest on the show, just have Skype. It's so easy. Guys, don't forget to send me show tips on Instagram. Guys, here's my Instagram page. Please follow me on Instagram and send me show tips, and I'll read them, most of them in the mornings. Guys, don't forget also to follow me on Facebook. So we got the article that was sent to us that Jeff Bezos says that Amazon might go bankrupt. What the hell does that even mean? All right, guys, don't forget to buy something on Teespring. If you guys want to buy some Mike Martin's Mike in the Night gear, come and pick it up. And don't forget, the Ralphie.co.New Zealand has a 24-hour radio station playing right now. 24-hour radio station playing, and there's a lot of episodes from Mike in the Night there streaming. I will get a Mike in the Night streaming 24 hours show. I might run it out of my store off a server in my store and just leave it running 24/7 and just leave the radio stream playing all the episodes. We've got several hundred episodes we can loop through, just audio only. I think that'll be really nice. Don't forget to check out artbydano.net, not your typical art. I love this guy. This guy's amazing. He's one of us on the show. Check him out. And don't forget to check out Beat the Market Stock Picks. Beat the Market Stock Picks is a good friend of mine that has this page. And check it out if you can. If you get some time, check it out and see what you think. Is there anywhere where you could comment? Let me see. Bitcoin stocks. Psychedelic. Oh, he's so into the psychedelic. Don't forget to subscribe. Put in your email address and subscribe to his charts. He's got everything here. He does everything himself. So if you guys want to check him out, he's a good. I know him personally. I saw him today. Good friend of mine that has this going. So check it out if you get some time. Anyways, we're rolling into our second hour. And we will play the Commonwealth for Common Folk song. Do 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 do.
Commonwealth for common people, going against the wolves of hell. We're Commonwealth for common people, through community. Mike Martin's you and common people. Mike Martins, through his show we crescendo symphonies instead of war and hate. Commonwealth, common people. Ralphie is the common people. Mikey is the common people. You and me, the common people, common people.
All right, everyone, take care. And if you can't take care, please stay safe. I have spoken.